9 out of 10 CEOs say they want to replace at least one person on their board. Here's a number nobody talks about. 55% of board members and or directors think at least one of their colleagues should be replaced too. Hi, my name is Phil. I'm an executive counsel for CEOs, and my job is to always ask the difficult questions and support transformation. Today, we're talking about what your board is thinking, and most importantly, what they are not saying to you. So here we go. Okay, so you have a full board, and they meet quarterly. And in that room, there are people who think some shouldn't be there, and there are people who also know there are certain people who shouldn't be there. But you all meet and you pretend that everything is okay. This is the room that you as a CEO is managing, and if you're not managing it in a certain way, then you are doing it wrong. Some CEOs think that the board is, you listen to them, you disagree. No, you got to manage them. Why? They are always looking at this alignment illusion and asking 3 questions. Okay. Number 1, they're looking for operational trust. Can this CEO execute when the plan breaks? Number 2, accountability trust. Does this CEO tell us the truth before we find it out ourselves? Number 3, digital trust. Does this CEO leader understand the technology risks well enough that we are not blindsided? Most CEOs score well on 1 and 2, okay? Very few consistently demonstrate all 3, and the ones that do don't operate on borrowed time. They just don't know it yet, or the ones that don't, for that matter. So the board conversation about your future happens without you in the room. The question is, what data are they using for that conversation? A couple of examples, okay? Bob Chapek of Disney, okay? In November 2022, after less than 3 years, the public narrative was that it was performance. The real story was not performance, it was alignment. Okay, if you do your research, you'll find out that Bob and the board had divergent views on strategy, on culture, and crisis communication. The Florida political controversy became the visible breaking point, but the fracture had been forming 1 year before. Okay, what Bob never did, he did not create a continuous proactive information relationship with his board. He managed them, he reported to them, he did not lead them. You have to lead your board by doing certain things consistently. This is what happens when I speak to boards. When I speak to CEOs and ask them, so how often do you communicate with your board before the quarterly meeting? And they'll say, oh, you know what, I'll communicate to them, a week or so, or 2 weeks or so, when I send them the papers for them to get ready. Wrong. That's where they're making decisions about you and you don't know about it. This is the cadence, or this is what I suggest, or what I have seen works with great CEOs who are managing their boards. They communicate a lot more than just once or twice, okay? 1, the protocol for communicating with the board in a way that you lead them and you influence the way they do things is you must send them a summary 1-pager every month. And in that summary, you're just telling them what you're seeing, what you're doing, the decisions you're making, and the general outlook. 1 page, it goes out to them every month. Okay, why? You're keeping them in the loop. You're also, when you send it, you're going to get some feedback in terms of what they are seeing. Therefore, there's some alignment. Number 2, you should always, before the quarterly meeting, you should always have a conversation with your board chair. Okay. And the reason that you're talking to the board chair is, again, not just alignment, but you want to know and or fill out where he's at. So the conversations, which should be much more regular than monthly, maybe twice a month, are, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm doing. This is the support I need. Can you galvanize the team to help me on this and this? Or these are the struggles we are. This conversation helps in such a way that you and the board chair seem to be working better together to create the result that everybody else wants. So when the general meeting comes, you've got an ally in this guy, lady, man, woman, whatever it is, that says, hey, I know about that. I know what is going on. And most importantly, we have been working on it together. Then the third communication is, it has got to be that you take it upon yourself to know what actually each board member, what their real desire is, and make sure that you are getting in touch with them consistently, especially if you have board committees where somebody is in charge of finance, somebody is in charge of HR. So whenever you're making decisions on any of those situations, you're consistently sending a before memo to say, this is what we're thinking of doing. This is the reason we're doing that. What advice do you have? Every time you involve them in the decision, it makes it much easier, number one, for you to get what you want, but also remember, you're leading them. You're not necessarily just listening to them. Okay, so monthly, quarterly, and then continuously, make sure that you have a direct line with your board, not just when there's a problem, but especially when there is not a problem. That is very, very important. Do not make your board do detective work because you didn't take time to speak with them. No, make sure that you are consistently influencing the conversation they have. Give them what they need before they have to ask for it. Now, if on the other hand, you're a PE-backed firm dimension, I have a different part there, because when I work with these guys, I know when this PE-backed, there's a few things that are different. Number one, they're active investors with a return timeline and a fiduciary obligation to their LPs. So what does that mean? You have to make sure that they know when you're doing great, they know what you're doing, to give them the confidence and certainty that you're going to make them their money back on the timeline that they have and or agreed. So if the timeline changes, you want to know, you want to be in the loop 24/7. So your communication with them is much more regular. Okay. So the CEOs who have seen, who really engage and or thrive in these PE environments, understand one thing clearly: the sponsor's confidence is in real-time measure, not an annual review. So every call where you hesitate on a number, every month where execution lags, every month where the culture kind of stinks, they are watching, therefore that stuff compounds. So the one who gets replaced is the one who is always surprised by questions. But if you're ahead and you're talking to them and you're giving them information and you're getting feedback back consistently, it's like you must have an ally in the PE firm who is consistently not just helping you out, but keeping you on your toes. And that's a good thing, because I totally believe that any CEO leader who really wants to make a difference, you got to screw it up so bad outside of a great culture, a great product, that they have to fire you. I totally believe that, because if you have a great product, you build a great team, and you have a maniacal sense of urgency to serve the world, it should be impossible for you to be fired. That's just a total belief. And in believing that, I have been able to go in with that mindset and help leaders to not just step up, but to believe again in their ability to make things happen. So before your next board meeting, this is what I suggest. Whatever is on your agenda, ask yourself one question: what am I not telling them that they need to know? Don't give them detective work. No, you got to lead them. Not because you're hiding that information, but because you told yourself it was not ready yet, and that cost you before. This time you're saying, no, I'm going to lead the conversation, because if I don't, somebody else is going to. Now, if this was interesting to you, give me a thumbs up, share it with somebody else. And most importantly, there's a link below if you want to get a copy of the Unspoken Truths of Modern Leadership, which kind of gives you a bigger picture of certain things that you know, that you feel, I know, Phil, that is right, and this is a solution. Then there's a link below where you can get a copy of that just for casual reading. I can guarantee you it will give you some pointers on how you can continue to be the best of the best. Now, until next time, please remember that you have the audacity to be able to build something amazing. And as you do that, bring somebody else along so that together we can make this world a better place. Until next time, peace.